Yeah, so I'm making a Hazbin Hotel redesign video. Hooray! I know it's been a hot minute since I made a YouTube video, so I figured this would be a pretty fun video to do. And it could help sharpen my designing skills. Alright, without further ado, let's get this started. For Charlie, I wanted to make sure she is represented by the pride ring due to her being born and raised there. My Charlie is so prideful in our hotel that she believes that it will work out no matter what. She is so confident that she would refuse any help and try to take on all of the duties there by herself. Her design is what I wanted to base on that. I made her look more like a sacrificial lamb because I wanted her to bring a welcoming vibe to her guests, to make them think that she is harmless. I also didn't like how we can barely tell that she's supposed to be a goat or lamb of some sort in the show. I think she was supposed to. I just remember someone pointing out hooves under her pants leg, and that wasn't enough for me. So I decided to lean more into that. Another reason to why she's a lamb and not specifically a goat is because, well, she has human blood. Her mother being Lilith would deem her as a half human, so I figured let's just go with the lamb. I know it doesn't make any sense, just go along with it. For her hair, I was going to have it extremely long, but figured it would be far too inconvenient for her to move around with it, so I shortened it from what it originally was. I did like how her highlights looked in the show, so I did keep that. I also wanted her hair to be a little bit more neater and more kept, so that she is able, to not be too distracted by it. For her clothes, I wanted to show that she was the owner of the hotel and give off a bit of a bellhop vibe. I would like to think that although she is the owner, she is always trying to help the guests in some way, to the point that she can be too overwhelming with trying to redeem said guest. I also added a bell to her buttons so that the guests can hear when she's coming, because in my head, I like to think she'd be pretty unnervingly quiet and have scared many guests by accident. So as a solution, she wears a bell. For the colors, I wanted to stay a bit in the red theme for the hotel and to show that she works there. However, I didn't want the red to overpower the whole design like it does in the show. So I used different shades of the red, a dark gray, and have her hair and skin offset the darker colors. I also wanted to add some gold accents to her so that, to show that she's royalty in a way. I honestly had a lot more fun doing Vaggie's design because I got to play around with a lot of bits that I have never gotten to play around with before. Since Vaggie was an angel as an exorcist, I wanted to give her a stern stance. I wanted some of those factors of being a warrior to still linger in her habits. Bad habits die hard sort of thing. She's definitely a lot more stricter than Charlie when it comes to the working, and she wants everybody to do their part properly. I wanted Vaggie to work at the front desk, like a secretary. I hated how in the show, Vaggie got a lot of Charlie's responsibilities dumped on her, so I wanted to lighten that load for her a little. I gave Vaggie a short haircut because I liked the idea of her keeping her hair cut as, rebellion against the heaven court. Because while she was an exorcist, they would make sure their hair was kept long for strength. This is a reference to a Bible story where Samson got his strength from his hair, and when it was cut, his strength was gone too. This isn't to say Vaggie is weak now because of it. It was just an act against the superstition to prove that she was still strong after being cut down. So I wanted to keep the neck feathers that was on the exorcist uniforms in the show on Vaggie because I really enjoyed that detail. I wanted her to be more bird-like to drive away from the original moth look from the pilot. For her colors, I wanted to have it in theme of the hotel just like Charlie's is, so that way it can be known that she works there. I tried making sure that there were darker tones to contrast the red, and I hope that the light colors in her hair and shirt was enough to contrast the darker tones. I also decided to give her stockings because I thought they would just look really nice with her uniform. For her uniform, when she was on duty, I had the most fun with it. I have never drawn any armor before, so I used a lot of references from other artists I saw on Pinterest, which I am very grateful that Pinterest is because that's where I've gotten all of my references for these redesigns. I wanted her to have a more thinner build for when she was on duty due to the standards that needed to be kept with, the exorcist group. That's why she's a lot different from when she's in hell than she was in heaven. I didn't want anything fancy for her masks, so I just did a plain mask plate. I did add a head covering that also covers the neck a little because I thought it would add to the religious standards of hiding her hair and covering skin. I knew I wanted to mix clothing in with the armor so that it had not only a holy feeling but also a soldier one too. I knew I wanted the plating to be gold. I did like in the show how they would replace limbs with gold ones instead, so I was like, why not do the same with normal armor? I thought it would just look aesthetically pleasing as well. For the colors, I wanted a mix of dark and light colors. I also wanted to make sure that none of the colors that were in similar of each other would touch too much. So that's why the cloth on top of her chest is like gray and not white, because I felt it would clash with the white head dressing. The cloth that drapes on her main body has the St. Peter symbol on it because St. Peter guards the door while the exorcist kills the sinners of hell from overpopulation to prevent an uprising. So in a way, they are protecting the gates of heaven just like St. Peter is in the show. So I thought that would be cool. I also added a little gradient to the wings because I thought it would just look nice. Lucifer's design wasn't my favorite, but I still sorta liked it. I wanted his horns to be broken ones, as if they were once attached together to form some sort of halo. The reason why Charlie looks more lamb or goat-like than her father is because a part of Lucifer's punishment was his body changing. He used to be known as the most attractive angel there was, but that is now stripped away from him when he was condemned. His body is now slowly morphing into something hideous, along with gaining wrinkles with age. He has a cane to help him walk due to not being used to his hooved legs, and I wanted to theme the cane around the atom, the apple, and the snake thing because I thought it would be cool instead of just incorporate it in his hat because I felt like that wasn't necessary. I did like the circus design in the show, but I sort of wanted to go more for a mafia or mob boss feel because he is the king of hell and I felt like it was only fitting. I wanted him to be decorated in gold a little because, royalty. I like to think that he still wears his wedding ring even when Lilith disappears for a grievance. I didn't like how they made him out as a super skinny sad dude who can't do anything, so I gave him more meat on his bones and made him a bit more confident. For his colors, I wanted to lean into the pride ring thing. I wanted to stay in the red theme and try to, balance it out with a dark gray, some gold accents, and white. It was at this point I was starting to hope that when I put these three side by side that they don't end up clashing with each other. I promise all of the cast won't consist of only red. My plan is just to design colors based on what sin I think will fit best for each character. And I guess these three aren't the best example because, both of them kind of live there, anyways. Well, it looks like that we finished them all. I kind of like the lineup. The lineup didn't look so bad after all. Their heights aren't exactly accurate. Charlie's supposed to be the taller one, and, I think it's fine. I really like Charlie's design. Her design is really cute, and I love Vaggie's too. I think I did a really good job on these designs. If you guys want me to do more content like this, I would be more than happy to do that. As far as I know, Alistair, Nifty, and Husk will be next. So, I just wanted to thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I can just make more of it. It was super fun.